Hey, it's Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And I have some really interesting news for you today. It's pretty esoteric. It's about chakras. So you might already know that it's commonly described there are seven chakras in our body, maybe an eighth around us, and then where the chakras are in the body. So these are energy vortices, which help to channel energy, and they control, if you will, or manage certain parts of our physical and non-physical anatomy. And so there's, one in the groin area, and then, the second one is in the, pelvis area. The third one's in the belly. The fourth one is the heart. The fifth, the throat. The sixth is like right here, and then the seventh is the crown. And what I found was really interesting is that from time to time, with ascension upgrades, this is where the planetary energies increase or expand, up level the vibration. It's a good thing. It's an evolutionary thing for all of us in the cosmos and the multiverse, if you will. But when we would have these ascension upgrades, from time to time, I would have interesting, funny symptoms at the top of my head. And they would show up as like itchy spots or bumps that weren't there before, but they weren't pimples, but just kind of weird bumps. And it could be either itching or bumps. Now, I have a heck of a lot of hair. So if I've had some hair loss there, I have not noticed. Of course, I do wear LifeWave phototherapy patches, and that has been known anecdotally to increase, the thickness and quantity of people's hair, the X39. But as an aside, anyway, but I have noticed that there are certain ones of my clients that have been complaining of losing hair more often. Now, these are people that have already had their thyroid checked, have been working with medical doctors in the past, and don't have other symptoms related to like the common hair loss causes, such as thyroid imbalance. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, light being star seeds are, in this case, we're talking about humans, light being star seed humans that have souls that are light beings. In other words, in other realities, they don't actually have a body. They are just pure light. And some people would say pure love and light. And there are different species of them as well. But the amazing thing is that everyone gets along. It's all joy, harmony, peace, love. There's no need for boundaries. It's an amazing, an amazing number of species, these light beings. And many of them do incarnate into a body, and in this reality, like a human body, to help with the ascension process, to help with the evolution of humanity, which is amazing. So these people are volunteers. Now, one of my souls is a light being starseed, but I have met many highly sensitive people who have not just one light being star soul, they have multiple souls. Some are merged, some are not merged. It gets very, very complex. What's very interesting, though, is that sometimes light being starseed humans have a very peculiar physical issues that other sensitive souls who are earth angels, indigo spectrum, um, you know, um, other embodied starseed souls like Pleiadians and Sirians and Arcturians, that are not light being starseeds, they have these interesting, curious symptoms. Now, one of them may not seem that curious. It may be very inconvenient and disliked. Is this hair loss thing, or some of the bumps that I talk about? Now, mine is very minor because I believe it's because only one of my souls is a light being starseed. The other is an earth angel, kind of a combo alien. Anyway, so I won't go there at the moment. So for light being star seeds, what we found out this week, which is very exciting to me, is that the crown chakra, which if you look in the old manuscripts, they talk about the 1,000-petal lotus, right? I never really paid too much attention, but it just dawned on me, like, wait a second, that's like sacred geometry, right? Well, for light being star seeds, they actually seem to have more complex layers of sacred geometry in the seventh chakra. And the more evolved the soul is, the more layers of complexity there are. Now, backing up a moment, as you may know if you followed my other videos for the last few weeks, is that I've been taking David Wilcock's course, Gateway to Galactic Mind. And in part of the course, he talks about the sacred geometry, and it was like so interesting and exciting. And long story short, I probably won't do it justice, but a single photon, like where we originated from nothing to the single thought or photon, okay, that in and of itself is a form of the Merkaba or the sacred geometry. And as life became manifest or more complex, this one photon in its geometric structure kept layering on other structures. So you could see, the sphere and the tetrahedron and the octahedron and the dodecahedron and the icosahedron, and they would be layered in. And as the structure got bigger and bigger, there'd be more and more layers. Even the planet Earth, he proved with various different scientific data that the Earth is expanding in this amazing geometric pattern. And as we ascend or expand, we become more complex geometrically. So it actually made a lot of sense to me that these light being starseeds, some of whom are very, very old, have lived a very long time in other timelines, have more complex sacred geometric structures at the crown. And here's the thing, sometimes the physical body, in trying to like catch up to this evolution energetically and spiritually, can have a little bit of a glitch. So in other alien cultures, they don't have hair on their crown. If you think about it, they don't. They don't miss it. They don't have it. They're very, very evolved. So I wonder whether or not that has anything to do with this. It may not, because they may not have other hair elsewhere, right? But why is it that humans have so much hair up here and other alien species don't? Some do, some don't. So I'm just, this is just conjecture at this point. But the sacred geometric structures, I think, is very, very interesting, because for a very evolved light being starseed human, for example, has been around the block many times, they may have like over 500 layers of complexity in their crown. And of course, those people may tend to be a little bit more symptomatic in this density, in this third, 3D density. I did ask Source, the average light being starseed, how many layers of complexity was the crown chakra, and the answer was about 84. So that's a big difference between 500 plus for someone who's very, very, very evolved spiritually to the average, which is 84. And then, interestingly, I thought this sacred geometric structure was the 1,000-petal lotus. And let me just show that to you. So this is the 1,000-petal lotus. And interestingly, Source says, no, it is not. And I thought, okay. So what I got was that non-light being starseed humans have the 1,000-petal lotus as their basic geometric crown chakra structure. But light being starseeds do not. Let me say that again. So non-light being starseed humans, okay, whether they are sensitive souls or not, they give birth to angels, indigos, or just, plain old human, okay, have this as their crown chakra, the 1,000-petal lotus. But non-light being starseeds do not. They have increasingly complex, multiple platonic solids, like just built up into multiple layers. And in terms of layers of complexity, I think that the average non-light being starseed, if I did my muscle testing correctly in my conversation with Source, is around 29 layers of complexity. So that's really different. Now, this is not to get competitive or say who's better than who or anything like that. No. Just don't even go there. Okay. It's just curious, like curious. Now, does it mean that if you are not a non-light being starseed, that you will not have any hair loss or scalp related issues related to the seventh chakra? I'm not really sure, but I do believe it has to do with a balance. So an energetic, spiritual, physical balance. So what we're going to do is at the, near the end of this video, is do a Topican healing activation where we call in that balance. So whether or not you're having symptoms in this area, it's certainly not going to harm you to direct whatever positive frequencies there are to help balance this crown chakra. The other thing I've discovered over the years, which I really haven't talked about publicly, but I guess I will now, is that when we have this Ascension upgrades, all this incredible, what I call source codes or information, comes in to us. And it comes in through the seventh chakra. It's like, this energy of information comes through us. For some of us, it comes in very fast and hard. Sort of like, when the Ascension upgrade occurs, it's like a fire hose. Like, here's all this great information, light, and that can be quite overwhelming. And some people, if they're not really balanced or working on themselves constantly or all the time in order to recalibrate, ground, distribute the energy, it can get stuck in the head and the neck. And I used to call them Mother Earth migraines because I felt I was empathic to Mother Earth whenever the Ascension upgrade was happening. And I would just have these horrible, horrible pineal gland headaches, and it would just like come in here and it would get trapped. So interestingly, I've been using block therapy to release fascia, and I found a lot of stuff around here that needs releasing. So I think that's really helping to pay attention to this area, because this is like a bottleneck, literally a bottleneck for that energy coming in. So all this energy coming in for the crown chakra at that speed. Now, there is a possibility, and this would be a case-by-case basis, so I'm not really going to share with you necessarily the Topican Healing Directive. It may not be appropriate for you, is that there's a way to create a spiritual funnel so that instead of the bottleneck being here and you just getting this massive dose, of these source codes, especially if you're a light being starseed, it comes in hard and fast. This funnel will be above your head and will kind of capture, that whatever speed is coming in, because some days it's faster than others, but they'll have like a little tube here so that whatever you receive is something that you can handle energetically and physically and spiritually, of course, as well. And that seems to have helped to some degree for one of my light being starseed persons. She knows who she is. So that's just an aside. So if you are a Topican healer practitioner, you may want to ask about that if one of your clients happens to have this kind of seventh chakra issue and they're light being starseeds and the information is coming in way too fast. Like I said, that spiritual funnel may or may not be appropriate for everyone just because they have a symptom in the crown. So let's go ahead and do the Topican healing activation for balancing the crown. And in this case, what I'm going to have you do is we're going to actually also use the positive frequencies and the metaphysical frequencies of the heart in this. And this is pretty easy. So you're going to put one hand over the heart and one over the crown of your head. Yeah, go ahead and do that now. And just pay attention to what your body feels like before we do the activation. Just feel inside your body, feel the flow. I'll go ahead and do the activation and then continue monitoring how your body feels, how the crown feels as I go through this directive. And then afterwards, we'll have you post in the comments below what it feels like for you. Here we go. So I now command that this crown area, the crown chakra, and everything connected to it be completely balanced, physically and non-physically, in the highest and best way, all directions of time, with ease, speed, and grace. Thank you. Okay, so make a note of how that feels. Please type in the comments. Let me know if you noticed anything. You may or may not, I don't know. So the second directive is around other chakras. So as many people's souls evolve, they actually evolve or grow, if you will, other chakras or vortices of light. Upwards of 50 plus, chakras. I've lost count actually at this point. And in the past, again, as each new chakra was growing, sometimes I would feel some discomfort, whether it be a headache or just feeling a little like, well, like too much stuff up here, or neck pain or something like that. There can be other symptoms, dizziness, things like that as well, but that's pretty general symptom. So what I found out, and this is through Topocan healing method, what I found out is sometimes when we're growing new chakras, to minimize the downtime, if you will, of not feeling well, what we can do is have an intention and do the Topocan healing to balance all the chakras, both new and old, okay, and fully connect and make sure the communication between all the chakras within, like between each other, and with the hara line, which is the nice big tube of energy coming from the crown all the way down to like right out your perineal area, can't say that today, that communication is free and clear. So your hara line, your communication with your chakras, right? So again, feel how you feel in your body right now. Like pay attention to that line, that pole that goes from the top of your head down through, into the floor from the groin, and just sense how that feels right now. So we're going to go ahead and do another activation to rebalance all the chakras. And if you want, you can touch your heart, or you can just close your eyes, and I'll go ahead and do the directive. Your job is just to pay attention to your body. So I now command that all your chakras, new and old, be completely balanced within themselves, with each other, fully communicating optimally with the hara line and with each other. In the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where you exist, where it's allowed and where it's appropriate, with ease, speed, and grace. Thank you. Okay, so you can open your eyes. Again, just make a note of your body, how that feels in your body. I know just when I was saying that, I just noticed my energies kind of dropped down a little bit. Like there was just more distribution. I tend to think a lot, and dream a lot. So I have a lot of energy up here. So it was like, kind of feels like it's going down for me. So love to know for those two activations, how it felt for you. Yeah, I'm excited to know. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like and share this video if you find it helpful or interesting. Other people may be interested in it as well. I did want to share with you the picture of Jupiter. I mentioned Jupiter in my newsletter, and just about how the North Pole of Jupiter has a geometric structure, a hexagon, and the conventional scientists don't really have much to say, like they have no idea why it's there, right? But if you understand fluid dynamics, and David Wilcock actually shared this in the Gateway to Galactic Mind, it makes total sense why there was a hexagon at the North Pole. So if you think about even a planet, okay, has a geometric structure, in this case visible, at the top of their North Pole, your North Pole also has, and I think all the chakras have their own sacred geometry, right? But this one, which is that connection to source up here, and where you get all the sources coming in, I think it's very interesting that we have more and more complex seventh crown geometric structures as we evolve. So some announcements. So on Monday's show, Light Warrior Radio, I'm going to have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Jess Bell to the show, and she's going to be doing energetic osteopathy. Ooh, that sounds so exciting. So people that join in will be able to receive an energetic osteopathic treatment. And I believe it works just as well on, if you're listening to the replay, if you can't make it live. So super excited to learn more about energetic osteopathy. So definitely join us on Monday at 12 noon for Light Warrior Radio. The other thing I wanted to share with you as well is that the Light Warrior Training Camp is happening in about, oh my gosh, about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. So, sorry, I cut off my video earlier. So 2 weeks, and we have 4 days, so 2 weekends where we spend time together, you and me, in a small group, helping you harness your superpowers, your intuiting, your healing, your manifesting superpowers, being able to use your hands as healing tools. And we're going to do a very, very safe technique that you can use remotely with people that you love, that give you permission to do healing on them. And even newbies have great results with this particular technique. Also, of course, divine muscle testing. We're going to tune in as well if there's any blocks to getting accurate muscle testing, and make sure that everybody has that on lock by the end of the 4-day camp. And a lot of other things like beginner telekinesis and transformational telepathy and weather magic and traffic magic and the nirvana of no and all sorts of really fun things. So it's going to be very interactive. If need be, I will do mini healings, to make sure that these blocks are removed so you can really tune in and tap in to your superpowers. And just letting you know that I may or may not do this as a virtual immersion in the future because I really would like to get back to it being live and in person, which is amazing. But given that last year's was canceled because of you know what, I thought, well, I don't want to wait too much longer. And right now, travel is still a little dicey from other countries with other countries. So I decided to do a virtual immersion this year. But in 2022, I am really looking forward to being in person. So I can't promise you we will be virtual again. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't need to travel, I don't want to travel, it's gonna, yeah, and I just want to get this, then I would say definitely enroll now. So definitely enroll now. And just a reminder, if you happen to be a student at the International Academy of Universal Self-Mastery, Awesome, that there is an additional $100 coupon off if you are already an annual member of there or monthly member of there, and you get to speak to me once a week. Yes, once a week we have a little Zoom chat live, and talk about whatever's going on in the world. This past week we talked about, who's doing prepping and what are they doing? What are they called to do? What is their intuition telling them to do? So it's pretty interesting. Sometimes we talk about other things that I can't mention on this particular channel. Anyway, so yes, so that is happening in 2 weeks time. So definitely book in now. And if you do decide to become a student at iAwesome, just contact me right in iAwesome and just let me know, and I'll make sure that you get that $100 coupon off. So the other piece of announcement is my 21-day Ascension 3 Light Medicine Challenge. So using our Ascension tools, the Ascension jewelry, for example, to make specific healing intentions happen. So I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel that's called Ascension 3 playlist, and each day we're releasing a new video. So we started on July 1st with the first video, and each day we're releasing a new video, and you can see some of the topics, immune system, blessing food, boundaries, grounding, relationship harmony, etc., etc. And we will continue, adding these till we get to that full 21 days. And if you'd like it delivered to your inbox instead of going on YouTube, because I know some people are like, I get so confused on YouTube, where do I click, right? You can actually go to KarenCan.com/A3 challenge and sign up on the mailing list for the 21-day challenge. It'll start from day one for you because some people have missed it. So it'll start on day one, and every day you'll get a new video delivered to your inbox. And there is going to be a special day 22 video. Some of what I'm going to talk about is going to be a specific antidote formula. This is a little too spicy to be placed anywhere public. So if you happen to be on this mailing list, okay, we're not going to mail it anywhere else, just this mailing list, I will release that video to you privately. So it'll be on a private page, not on social media. You can't download it, and I'll show you that specific protocol for the antidote. And then if you don't have Ascension 3, we are open through the challenge. Then we're going to close the store. So you'll definitely want to, get your item and start as soon as possible. You can click the link here to shop the Ascension 3. Yeah, and so that's this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. This has been a very speedy and very interesting, fascinating summer. There is a lot going on behind the scenes. Although, I did a couple of videos talking about whatever's, politics going on in the world, et cetera, et cetera. I'm much more comfortable talking freely about that because it's hard to talk freely here, but I'm much more comfortable talking freely about that in iAwesome, in our weekly meetings, and in the light medicine community, which of course is private as well. So yeah, so if you have any questions about that kind of stuff, please connect with me. MeWe, Telegram, iAwesome, light medicine community, if you're already a customer or a client. And yeah, have a great weekend, and I hope to see you at the iAwesome launch, which is this weekend, which, you're probably already there, as well as the continuing Ascension 3 challenge and the Light Warrior training camp in a couple of weeks. All right, until next time, bye for now and lots of love.